Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rucha Kudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Why You So Emotional? And as you've been noticing lately, brother's been going back to explain the law on grape as of lately, because you still have these emotional individuals out there that can't get the fact that there is a law within the Bible on how to treat these matters, and it gives you different, situations that would take place and how to deal with each and every situation. And it's, you got these hardcore gun-toting, harder than hard individuals out there in different camps, that know that they're Israelites, that know how to read, that know how to research, and they still can't get a simple law like the grape law and the situations that are the different situations that are meant in the scriptures. And they act like as if we're teaching that this is something that happened every day, every moment, every hour. Lock up your daughters because, the grapists are here, This is not something that happened every single day. This law was written just in case any of these situations happen. And I was watching, the video that Elder Yashwamba did earlier. It's that season again. That's, part of the lesson, or part of the title. It's that season again. And pretty much when you read this law, right, it's in every situation that you read, it's in there, this particular word. This did not happen every day. These are laws that were written in the Bible of how to deal with these situations if or when they happened. This is why Deuteronomy 22 and 22 says, if a damsel that is a virgin betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, if this was to happen, this is how you would deal with this situation of the if. Then you shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city, and you shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, because if she didn't cry, that means she was with it and she liked it. She liked it, okay? And that's why her and the man would get put to death, stoned to death. And the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from among you. All right? It says, verse 25, but if this different situation happened, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, meaning he got her, he grabbed her, he overpowers her, he's stronger than her. The word force is the word kazak, which means strong. Chazak, which means strong, strengthen, prevail, harden. Just like Amnon and Tamar. He overpowered her because he was stronger than her. If a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, meaning this woman is engaged, and the man force her, he grapes her, knows she's betrothed, and lie with her, and he pops her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. This is a different situation. If this situation happened, this is how you would deal with this situation. The first situation, they will both be put to death. In this situation, only the man shall die. Why? But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. Because she screamed, and there was no one there to help her. And he did it anyway. He knew that she had a man. He knew that she was engaged. He he grabbed her, and then he popped her, and she screamed, but there was no one there to help her. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. So remember, 23rd verse, if a damsel. 25th verse, but if a man. Implying what? That this is not the normal. This didn't always happen. But if it happened, this is how you would deal with this situation. I don't understand why these guys are so emotional. They'd be hard. Oh, I'm hard. I want all that smoke. But then a little law like this makes them fold like a taco. Makes them crumble and, get all emotional and, this motherfucking Western woman mentality got these guys fucked up in the head. It's amazing. The Western mentality of these jakes, especially the ones that know that they're Israelites, they're like the worst kind. The worst kind. Now, the 28th verse. If this wasn't something that happened every day, but if it happened, this is how you would deal with this particular situation. If, matter of fact, let's look up this word if. Let's see if there's a Hebrew word there. Kaya, for, if. Kaya. That, for, because, when, as though, as, because, that, but, then, certainly. In this case is if, but if, or if. So if, right, a man find a damsel that is a virgin, he finds a young woman of marriageable age, which is not betrothed, she's not engaged. And how would he know she's not engaged? Because he would ask her, are you engaged? She say no. Right? And lay hold on her, he grabs her. And that's what it means to grape without the G. It means to grab or apprehend somebody against their will. It doesn't mean sticking your peanut in her sheath. That's not grape. All right, when the police grab you against your will, whether you're guilty or not, but let's say you're not guilty and they grab you and they cuff you, that's grape. They seized you. And there was nothing you could do until they let you go. The word grape without the G has nothing to do with sexual intercourse. All right? So, and lay hold on her and lie with her. Now this part is, he pops her. He does it, by force. And they be found. Why? Because eventually people are going to know, what happened. Because this woman was a virgin. They knew she was a virgin. They knew she never had a man. And now this man popped her. So it's going to be known. If this particular situation happened, this is how you would deal with this matter. Why didn't the man get put to death if it was such a heinous crime? Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. And that's pretty much it. They're acting like this is such a severe penalty. Oh, wow, well, he can't put her away ever. He just got to be with her. Well, really, once you stick your thing in a woman, if she wasn't married to anybody else, that's your woman for life. So what's the big deal? No, well, if something is right or lawful, should you be punished for it? That's a punishment? To stay with the woman forever? A woman that got your juices going, that obviously she must have looked good. She got your juices going and you grabbed her and popped her. And now you got to give the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and then you got to stay with her forever. Now, if it would have said, then the man would be stoned to death, now you got a point. Now you got to, well, if it's lawful, why did he have to get penalized? In this case, the reason why he had to pay the father the 50 shekels of silver, was because that was the dowry for his daughter. There was a dowry that was given to the father's, to the father, or to the bride, or to the father of the bride. Why? Because he's losing an asset that he's, given over to another man. All right? Fucking mayhem. And that's why he would have to pay the father 50 shekels of silver. Why? Because, it's an exchange. It's a business exchange. You didn't come consult me. You didn't ask me. You didn't set it up the proper way. But since it happened, you give me the money and she's yours now. Now she's your problem, not mine. Why are you so emotional? Why are these guys so emotional? What is it? Who's that? Is that Carl Thomas? I'm emotional and I can't let you go. Come on, man. It's a law. Just say you got, put the mole to death. That's a law. Just like you have a law on adultery. That's a law. Just like you have a law on, a rebellious son. Just like you have a law on burning a woman if she, the daughter of a priest, if she was a hoe. It's a law. And it gives you different situations and how to handle these situations. Why, if this was so wrong, why did the man not get put to death for doing this? Why, when the Benjaminites, the 400 Benjaminites that were told to grab their women, not get penalized? Now, the fathers that told him to do it and spoke to the other fathers and said, look, don't be upset with them. They did it, because, we made a covenant that they can't come and deal with any of our daughters, so we would bring a curse upon ourselves. I'm just merely paraphrasing. Why? Because, of course, if you were to do this, the father would be violated because he's losing an asset. But this is why he would be recompensed with money. And that's what the word dowry means, gift, or to give. And you would be with the woman for life. Whenever you dealt with a woman, period, if she wasn't married to another man, she was your woman for life. He's making it seem like that's such a severe penalty. Why would you be punished if you did this? If it's lawful, why would you be punished? You have to stay with the woman for life. He didn't even say, he had to pay the father 50 shekels of silver. He just said he had to be with her for life. Like, that's such a severe penalty. That's what you're supposed to do. When you deal with a woman, she's not supposed to be bouncing from man to man. The only time she's able to go to another man is if her husband is dead. Then she's free from the law of her husband, and she can go and be another man's wife. I don't understand the big deal. And there's always them hardcore, oh, yeah, man, we just hard. Oh, nothing moves us. Oh. There's always them hard dudes that when it comes to the women, they're just like butter. It's fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. Gun-toting, cats, we want all the smoke. But then when it comes to the situation with a woman, they just melt like syrup on hot pancakes. Or like butter on toast. Shit's crazy, man, when you actually think about it. Anyways, Ezekiel 3:7, it says, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me, for all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. And this is why it says they hate him that rebuketh at the gate. Why? Because when you come with that fire of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and the truth, they get upset, they get mad. Just like you have individuals out there that get mad at us in Great Millstone for teaching that the MOTB, is the micro C-hip. They get angry. And because we do videos on it, constantly correcting them, they get upset. Now they're switching up, tweaking, their whole teachings, so that when this system does come into place, they can say, well, look, moron, we've been teaching the whole time that there was going to be a digital system and digital currency. Must we go back to the records, to the archives and show you that we spoke about these things? Crazy. Yep, this is a good. Matter of fact, let me read these two verses. Romans 12:1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. Right, and a part of that sacrifice is what? Suffering this madness. The persecutions for teaching the truth. They hate him that rebuke it at the gate. Verse 2. And be not conformed to this world. And this is what happens. These guys, they wake up to the truth. They learn a couple of scriptures. And they still conform to this world. That's a Western mentality. This mindset that even these Israelites have. Over there in the East, they already know the deal. They know what would happen in certain situations. If you had a young daughter, of marriageable age, and she wasn't promised to anybody and she got raped, they would have their, situations of how they would handle it. And the scriptures tell you, if this happened, implying that it didn't happen all of the time, but if, and when it did, this is how you deal with this situation. And again, if it was such a heinous crime, why didn't the man get put to death? Why? When that was the penalty if he did it to a married woman. So why wasn't it the same charges or the same punishment for the man that popped a woman that was not betrothed? But only he had to give the father 50 shekels of silver and be with the woman for life. Inquiring minds want to know. It says, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And a lot of these guys never transform their minds from the world views in the West till, to the scriptures, to the truth of the scriptures. It says that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Yep, there's a lot of bitch-assness among the Israelites, and that is 100% correct. So back in Ezekiel 3:8, behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant, harder than flint, have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Because this is the product of the Western, society and the Western bringing up of a single mother, so-called strong woman, strong black woman or strong woman, period, of the tribes. This is the product of it. A super sensual, emotional man. Let's go to James. I believe that's chapter 3 and verse 15. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. Because men in the ancient world, they were not emotional about that. Earthly, epigeos, existing upon the earth, earthly, terrestrial, right. It doesn't come from the throne of the Most High. Sensual, dealing with the senses, psyche, where you get the word soul. Psychikos, of or belonging to breath, having the nature and characteristics of the breath, governed by breath, the sensuous nature which is with its subjection to the appetite and passion. See? It's earthly, it's sensual, it's emotional. And then you have the word devilish, diamoniodes, where you get the word demon from, resembling or proceeding from an evil spirit, demon-like. And this emotional spirit is catchy, for lack of better words. It's infectious. And this is why when certain brothers will go approach IUIC, I believe that was, if brothers could correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that was in Jamaica, where the IUIC was down there and the brother approached them. You know, I believe he was going to deal with them about the MOTB, if I'm not mistaken. And the very first thing that they said was about the grape thing. You know, because you know why he did that? Because he's a snake. He's a snake. And he knew that would play into the emotions of Jake out there. Because you know how emotional Jake gets about certain situations like that. And here it is, the woman is one of the main forces that has destroyed Jake, the Jake man out here, yet she still gets a pass. Like she's so precious. It's fucking unbelievable. Even among Israel, you got these men that give these women a pass each and every time, no matter what shit they do. Why? Because they're flying off of that emotion, that emotional high that doesn't come from the skies. You know? Let's go back. Let's see if we got anything else here. Ezekiel, let's read 3 and 8 again. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. Yeah, and the reason why they come this way is through that emotion that they've been taught here in the West. This is why, as you read the scriptures, there has to be a transformation. It's not about bringing that old dude into the truth and just building around that old, facade. Because what you're doing is you're building on sand. That whole old shit gotta go. And you have to rebuild from scratch. And the foundation or the cornerstone we're supposed to build on is Yahweh Shai, which is that stone. And this is why a lot of these guys still have that world mentality in them. This is why you have, madness going on in ISUPK like they do. I mean, just basic ninja stuff. No different than these gorillas out here. Just they call themselves Israelites. And we're all black. Now, I'm not saying all of them are like that, but they condone that behavior. Because if they didn't, they would have spoken up, and guess what? If they speak up, they're going to be blacklisted or blackballed or look funny upon. Crazy, man. As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Why? Because eventually the Lord is going to deal with them. We're supposed to speak to them and let them know whether they want to hear it or not. It doesn't matter. You listen, good. If you don't, hey, you gotta, you don't want to deal with the correction the Lord has given you through men. Well, you got to deal with the direct judgment from the Lord. How about that? And this is why the Apostle Paul said, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And knowing the terrors of the Lord, we persuade men. So it's better for us to be persuaded by each other through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, through the Holy Spirit, than to have to wait till the Lord just gets tired and says, you know what? I'm going to bring the judgment on this clown right now. It says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears, and go get thee to them of the captivity unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith the Lord power, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Because at the end of the day, let's go to Romans. Hold on, let me hold on to that. Let's go to Romans chapter 3. Is it 3? Yeah, Romans 3:3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? So your infidelity or your unbelief is not going to stop the Most High from doing what he got to do. The plans of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua are going to move forward regardless. Whether you accept it or not. Whether you agree with it or not. So it says, shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? The Most High forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Why? Because we're standing upon the principles that are written within the scriptures. Just like the law in Deuteronomy 22. If this situation was to happen, this is what you would do in that particular case. This is why I gave you different cases on the grape issue. All right? And when you go to some of these different translations, right, of the Bible, let's see, was that the NLT? No, that says violated her, which that's good. Let's see. Violated her, Father, you know. Let me try this one here. Okay, seizes her. That's correct. See, NIV. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and grapes her, and they are discovered. You see? Seizes is really a better word, because that's what the word grape means. And then, you know, when you pop her, that's something else. But usually that was the way it was done, you know? So if this was to happen, see, takes hold of her and grapes her, and they are discovered. So these are different laws and the different penalties. Once again, why didn't this man get put to death if it was such a heinous crime? And once again, this is not something that happened every day. They're making it seem like we're teaching, yeah, every day, you know, you was walking around and there were women walking around and they had to be careful because, you know, you had men that jump out from behind a tree and knock them in the head with a club and just take them behind a tree and just pop them. This is why the word if is there. If this happened, this is how you would deal with this particular law or this particular infraction. Truly amazing. Jeremiah 1:7, but the Lord said unto me, say not I am a child. Or let me just jump to the 8th verse. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith the Lord. Then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And the Lord said unto me, behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant, and also among Jacob. That's why it says, if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. If any be wicked, let him be wicked still. Because at the end of the day, the Lord is going to bring the judgment. And once the Lord brings the judgment, there ain't going to be no wiggle room in there. You know? Right. And like the brother put here, Ecclesiastes 36:24, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. And before that, she would be the possession of her father. And when a man popped a woman and the father hadn't got a chance to arrange a marriage for her, there was a loss to him. And this is why the man would have to pay the 50 shekels of silver to compensate her father for her loss. And then he would keep her for life, which was what you would do when you would marry a woman, period. You weren't supposed to put her away. Remember, Yahushua cursed some wicked Pharisees out because they said, well, why did Moses give her a bill of divorcement? What did he tell them? Because of the hardness of your heart, Moses put that clause in there. But from the beginning, it wasn't so. Because once you deal with a woman, you have to understand that once a man puts his rod in a woman, there is a spiritual connection there. And he's supposed to be with that woman for life. She ain't supposed to, be with any other man. But the majority of these hoes, especially in the West, they get off on the cock carousel, as they call it. And even to this day, you have some women that once they get married to a man, and if that man happened to die, no matter how young they may be, they never marry again. And they only had one man their whole entire life. That's an honorable woman. You know? Look at Judith. Judith was a very young, beautiful woman. I'm talking about beauty. She was so fine that when she walked out, she was so fine that she would stop wars. Cats would be all in the spirit, you know, killing each other. That's the spirit, the brother put it up. You know, they'd be all in the spirit killing each other, and all of a sudden she walk and they just, oh shit. And they stop fighting for that moment. That's how fine she was. But she never married again. Ever. Yep, and Anna too, that's right, brother. It said that she was only with her husband for a short period of time. And she was an older woman. And she had been in her virginity all that time. From the time that she lost, actually from the time that her husband popped her and he died, all the way until her old age, she never married again. So there were certain women that are built like that, and they still are today, some of them. But for the most part, most women are not like that. You know? Because the way that they're trained here in the Western world. And especially these men. These men have been trained in the thinking of this Western world. They never put off the old man. They just put clothes on top of the old man to cover the old man, but every once in a while that old ninja peeks out. You know? So pretty much I just wanted to do something on that because this thought came to mind earlier. I wanted to do this a little earlier, but this thought came into mind, and then pretty much the title just came to me a little while ago. So I said, you know what, let me just jump on it, and then Lord's will, it was edifying lesson. And to the next time I say Shalom, and Lord's will, you brothers and few sisters that were edified. Shalom.